Here in our next slide, we have here a question. Who may organize a security or watchman agency? So it was stated under Section 4 of RA 5487. We have here any Filipino citizen or corporation, partnership, or association. So it was mentioned here, any Filipino citizen. So it pertains a single person. Okay? Paano naman kapag isang group, association, okay, or corporation, or it involves a group of person or organization of a group of person? So, pwede yan. Sabihin natin, Marimon Investment Corporation. So, yan ay, pwede ba silang magtayo ng security agency nila? Yes, it is permitted by the law. Nandyan, corporation, partnership, or association. So, take note of that. Pero hindi lamang po yan yung qualification. So, dapat at least with a minimum capital required by law. So, parang business din, di ba? Kailangan meron kang capital bago ka magtayo ng business mo. So, ganun din dito. So, at least a minimum capital, having a minimum capital required by law. So, magkano ba yung nire-require ng ating batas? So, for minimum capitalization, at least you have 1 million pesos. Okay? And then, not only minimum capitalization yung nire-require ng batas. At least meron ka ding minimum cash deposit, okay, or bank deposit of 500,000 pesos. So, kalahating milyon. So, all in all, dapat meron kang 1.5 million, okay, as a capital, okay, and literal. Pero dyan, so yun yung minimum capital na sinasabi ng batas. And then, nandito naman, in case of corporation, association, or partnership, must be 100% owned and controlled by Filipino citizen. Take note of that. So, sabihin natin, Marimon Investment Corporation. So, yan yung pangalan ng kanyang corporation or ng kanyang kumpanya. And then, nais niya mapunta rin sa Industrial Security Administration, sa field ng Industrial Security Management. So, gusto niyang magtayo ng kanyang security agency. Yun nga lang si Marimon. Siya yung nagmamay-ari ng Marimon Investment Corporation na yun. So, siya yung nagmamay-ari. Yun nga lang siya ay isang half-half. Paanong half-half? So, half-half in a way na 50% na American and then 50% na Filipino. Okay? So, yan, as mentioned in our law, hindi po pwede. Okay? So, yung citizenship na is parang double citizenship siya. So, he's a Filipino and American citizen. So, hindi po pwede. So, it is necessary na si Marimon should be a 100% Filipino citizen before he can be, or before his corporation can create or can have interest in security agency. So, take note, that is 100%. Hindi 99%, or 99.9%, it is, kung batas yan, kung ano yung numero na sinabi ng batas yan, yung masusunod. So, 100%. And then, no person shall organize or have interest in in more than one agency. Take note of that. So, hindi pwede na ikaw mag-organize ka ng security agency dito sa Cavite. Okay? So, pinangalanan mo, unang ginawa mong security agency, tinayo mong security agency is Brave Heart Security Agency, and then maya-maya magtatayo ka na naman, another one, Brave Woman Hearts Security Agency. So, magkaibang security agency, hindi po pwede yun. Okay? So, branches pwede pa. So, meron kang main branch dito sa Bacoor, pwede kang mag-spread or palawakan mo pa yung security agency mo. So, pwede kang magtayo ng branch mo doon sa Naik. Okay? So, pwede pa yun. Pero more than one security agency na parehas na ikaw yung nagmamay-ari, hindi po pwede yan. That is not allowable or not allowed by our law. So, bakit kaya ayaw ng ano yan? So, balikan natin yung 100% owned and controlled by Filipino citizen. So, take note, balikan natin, bakit kaya ganyan yung ginawa ng batas? Balikan natin kasi yung principles ng industrial security here in the Philippines. Nasabi natin na security industry or security profession here in the Philippines is katulong yan ng ating military and ng ating police force in maintaining peace and order here in our country or internal or maintaining internal security here in our country. So, considered na security here in our Philippines, or industrial security administration, is also a sensitive part, okay, of our industry here in the Philippines. Yan, baka ikaw pala ay 50-50 na citizen, okay? 50% na Filipino and 50% foreigner. So yan, tendency niyan, baka mamaya ikaw pala ay nagiging spy, okay? And then that could cause breach against national security of the Philippines. So yan yung isa sa essence, or one reason kaya masasabi natin na it is required by our law na if it is a partnership or corporation, it should be owned and controlled by a 100% Filipino citizen bago siya makapagtayo ng kanyang private security agency. So that's it. And then we have here now qualification of an operator or manager of a security agency. So nandyan, at least 25 years of age, take note of the age, and then college graduate or commissioned officer in the inactive service of the AFP. Take note, inactive service. So commissioned officer, so ano yung commissioned officer na yan? So commissioned officer, nandyan na yan sa mga bandang lieutenant, okay? So nasa ibaba ng lieutenant, non-commissioned officer na yung mga yon. Pero yung official or commissioned officer, usually yan yung mga officialis natin. High-ranking officials, lieutenant, okay? From lieutenant up to the general. So same as to the PNP also. And then at least, number 3, having good moral character. And then number 4, no previous record of any conviction of any crime, offense involving moral turpitude. So na-emphasize dyan, involving moral turpitude. So those are cases usually found in our revised penal code, such as crime of rape, crime of homicide, parricide, okay, infanticide, murder, theft, robbery. Those are usually crimes involving moral turpitude. So if you are convicted of that crime, okay, you are not qualified to be an operator or manager of a security agency. But if you are convicted, okay, sabihin natin, it does not involve moral turpitude. Sabihin natin yung, dun kasi sa batas natin, usually na ang isa sa mga crimes na does not involve moral turpitude is yung recklessness, okay, negligence. So you were convicted of recklessness driving. So that could not be a disqualification here in becoming an operator or manager of a security agency. In-emphasize lang niya, those crimes involving moral turpitude. Pero yun yung kaso mo, then still, you are qualified. Okay? Hindi yan magsaserve na disqualification according or sa mata ng ating batas. And then not suffering from any of the following disqualifications. So nandito po number 1, dishonorably discharged. Paanong dishonorably discharged? So nandyan, nasibak ka sa AFP or nasibak ka sa PNP. Okay? Sinibak ka in a way na dahil sa nagkaroon ka ng administrative cases. Okay? So that is one disqualification, dishonorably discharged. Okay? And then paano naman kapag honorably discharged? So pag honorably discharged naman, syempre yan yung nag-resign ka. Okay? Nag-resign ka. Aside from that, nag-retire ka. Okay? So, yun, pwede pa yan. Or pwede kang maging operator or manager ng isang security agency. Take note, pag honorable or honorably discharged, pwede pa yan. Pag dishonorably discharged or separated from the AFP or PNP, then you cannot. Okay, and then mentally incompetent. Okay, may sayad ka na sa isipan. Okay, may sayad ka na sa utak. Hindi po pwede yun. Okay? And then number 3, addicted to use of narcotic drugs. Narcotic drugs, nandyan na yung mga okay, mga shabu. Okay? Mga shabu, heroin, marijuana, and others, illegal drugs. And then habitual drunkard. So hindi po pwede yan. If you're a known person of being an habitual drunkard, you cannot be. Or that is a disqualification under RA 5487. Let us proceed to the next slide. It says here, as amended by President Presidential Decree number 11. So it says here, unelective or appointive government employees who may be called upon on account of the function of their respective offices in the implementation of enforcement of the provision of RA 5487 and person related to such government employees by affinity or consanguinity in the third civil degree. Take note, third civil degree shall not hold any interest directly or indirectly in any security guard agency. So, sino yung tinutukoy natin dito? So, nandito na yung mga officials or mga persons that are appointed in the PNP SOSHA. Okay? Particularly, yung mga nasa SOSHA. Kasi anong kinalaman ng SOSHA? Diba sinabi natin, PNP SOSHA, actually, they are the ones who are going to supervise security works here in the Philippines. Okay? Sila yung nagre-release ng license, permit, or license to operate, okay, for a security agency. So, yung mga officials or yung mga appointees na nakaupo doon, they should not, okay, hold interest in any security guard agency. Or in short, they cannot participate or they cannot create or magtayo ng kanilang security agency. Dahil sila ay nandun nga sa katungkulan na yan. They are being prohibited by the law. Directly. Okay? So, directly and indirectly. So, take note of the word directly and indirectly. Paano naman kapag sabihin natin ganito yung gawin niya? Dahil sa sobrang talino niya, sinabi niya, sinabihan na yung kapatid niya. Okay? Then, magtayo tayo ng security agency natin. So, since ako ay isang official na nakaupo or na-appoint ako, nakadistino ako sa PNP SOSHA, kami yung nagre-release ng mga license to operate, hindi ako po pwede. Okay? Hindi ako po pwede. Kaya kung maaari sana, ikaw kapatid ko, ikaw ang gagamitin ko mo yung pangalan mo. Ipapangalan ko sa'yo yung security agency. So, yun. Pero actually, ako yung nagmamay-ari dun. Ipapangalan ko lang sa'yo. Pwede ba? Okay? So yun, pumayag yung kapatid niya. Pero sa mata ng batas, pwede ba yun? Is that allowed? So, take note, balikan natin yung nasabi dyan. Such government employees by affinity or consanguinity in the third civil degree shall not hold any interest directly or indirectly. Third civil degree. Paanong third civil degree? Hanggang saan ba kasi ang third civil degree? Magsisimula yan sa ikaw, sa kapatid mo, anak mo, okay, magulang, okay? Determine natin by the graph that we have here in our presentation. So, unahin muna natin sa consanguinity. So, pag sinabing consanguinity or relationship by consanguinity, nandyan yung blood. Okay? Relationship by blood. Okay? Pag affinity naman, that is relationship by marriage. Okay? So, dito, unahin natin sa first degree, ang nandyan ay yung parents mo and then yung anak mo. Okay? So, yan yung first civil degree within consanguinity. And then, second civil degree, nandyan yung grandparent, brother, sister mo, okay, and then grandchild. So, nandyan yung kapatid mo. So, balikan natin yung kanina. Kapatid niya yung kinausap niya. So, pasok ba yun sa violation sa batas? Yes. Okay, kasi nandyan second civil degree yung brother niya, di ba? Okay, yung kapatid niya is nasa second civil degree. Third civil degree, nandyan na yung great-grandparent mo, uncle, niece, nephew, and great-grandchild mo. Okay? So, nandyan din. And then, fourth civil degree, lagpas na dun sa batas natin. Okay? Wala na. Kasi sabi ng batas, until third civil degree, hindi na po pwede. So, fourth civil degree, yan yung mga first cousin mo, grand-nephew mo, great-aunt, uncle, great-great-grandparent. So, sila. Okay? Pwede pa. Pasok pa yon. Okay? Pero until third, that is being prohibited by the law. Okay? And then, sa kabila naman, relationship by affinity, especially dun sa mga married person. Okay? So, sino yung nasa first civil degree mo? Okay? Nandyan si spouse, si asawa mo. And then, susunod dyan, okay, yung nanay ng asawa mo or yung mga magulang ng asawa mo. And then, nandyan yung kapatid niya, okay, son-in-law, and others. And then, third civil degree, grandparent-in-law, brother and sister-in-law, and then grandchild-in-law. So, ganun din. Baliktarin natin yung situation ng yung kanina. Okay, sabihin natin yung bayaw mo yung kinausap mo. Bayaw mo yung kinausap mo na ipapangalan mo yung agency, pero ikaw yung actual na mag-i-interest doon. Okay? So, yun, pasok pa rin yan sa batas. Okay, that is still a violation dun sa batas. Kasi, nasa third civil degree yung bayaw mo. Okay, yung brother, okay, in-law mo. So, that is what is being pertained to under the amendment of PD number 11 dun sa provisions ng RA 5487 noong 1969 or 1972 or somewhere in 1969. And then yan, okay, take note of the table of consanguinity and table of affinity. So, take note, affinity, sa asawa yan, or by marriage, consanguinity by blood. And then we have here now the limitations and prohibitions on a security agency. So, it was mentioned here, no security agency operating in a city of Manila and suburbs, or papanong suburbs? Suburbans. So, nandyan na yung mga kalapit na city ng Manila. Okay, nandyan na Quezon City and others. May employ more than 100 watchmen, or 1,000 watchmen or security guards. Okay, take note of the number. So, hindi po pwede yan. Okay, at least maximum of 1,000 only. Another one, no agency operating in the other cities and first-class municipalities may employ more than 500 watchmen or security guards. So, first-class municipalities. So, those are, an example is the province of La Trinidad and the province of Benguet. Okay, or municipality of La Trinidad in the province of Benguet, kung saan nyo makikita yung mga strawberry farms. So, actually, that is not a city. Hindi yan sa Baguio City. So, they are classified as a first-class municipality, yung La Trinidad, kung saan yung makikita yung strawberry farm, okay, kasi medyo mayaman yung municipality na yun. So, that is a first-class municipality. Yun, it was mentioned here that if you are going to create or operate a security agency there, at least the maximum is 500. You cannot employ more than 500 watchmen or security guards. Another one, we have here, no agency operating in municipalities other than the first-class municipality may employ more than 200 watchmen or security guards. So, yung medyo mas mababang munisipyo naman ito. Okay? Yung hindi pasok sa first-class municipality, maximum of 200 watchmen or security guards. And then, no person or corporation, partnership, or association may organize more than one agency in any one city or municipality. As we have mentioned a while ago, you cannot organize more than one agency. Okay? And then, no agency shall offer, render, accept services to gambling dens or other illegal enterprises. So, wala. Okay? Mga police officers nga natin, hindi pwedeng mag-offer ng security services sa mga ganong institutions. Okay? Pati na rin yung mga security agencies. Okay? And they should not, okay? They should not render services dun sa mga yun nang hihingi. Okay? Yung mga illegal, okay, na gambling dens or illegal enterprises, okay, not registered or not recognized by our government as a legal enterprises or legal business here in the Philippines, you cannot render services there. Or security agencies should not render services. Okay, that is a violation under limitations and prohibitions on the security agency under 5487 pag ganon. And then the extent of the security service being provided by any security agency shall not go beyond the whole compound or property of the person or establishment requesting the security service, except when they escort big amount of cash. So take note of that, yung scope lang or yung area or kung saan ka magtatrabaho ay dun sa area na nasasakupan ng establishment or ng business na nandun sa kontrata nyo, or yung principal na sinasabi natin. Okay, yung area niya. Okay, doon ka lang. Okay, wag ka nang lalabas. Okay, doon lang yung area of responsibility mo. Okay, yun lang yung babantayan mo. Okay, pero merong exception dyan, especially doon sa mga bangko. Okay, sa mga bangko, okay, sa mga businesses na malalaki. And then yan, merong cash, okay, and then kinakailangan ng escort. So that's the time you can only render services outside the area of responsibility in cases lang na mag-escort ng big amount of cash. And that should be provided with details dun sa DDO natin. Okay? Sa duty detail order and then mission order or DDO. Okay? So, yan yung documentation. Okay? Kapag yan ay outside of the area of responsibility. And then we have here, who can issue rules and regulations to carry out the purpose of RA 5487? Nandyan na the Chief PNP and consultation with the PADPAW. Okay? And then particularly, that is being directly relayed by the PNP SOSHA also. Okay? And then we have here, what are the penal provisions for violation of RA 5487 or its implementing rules? So, nandyan, these are the penalties that can be imposed to those persons who violated the provisions of RA 5487. Number 1 na po dyan, suspension, fine, or cancellation of license to operate with the forfeiture of bond filed with the PNP chief. Okay? Suspension, fine, and cancellation of the license. Imprisonment ranging from 1 to 4 years and a fine in the discretion of court. So, pwede pang lumagpas dyan. Okay? Or pwedeng mas mababa dyan. And then we have here now so those are only some. Okay? Or those are the ones that are provided there that can be imposed to those persons who violated RA 5487. And then we have here now the basic qualification of a security guard. So, number 1 there is at least a Filipino citizen, a high school graduate, physically and mentally fit. So, pagkakaiba ng operator and manager, at least a college graduate. Pero security guard, they have at least high school graduate, or they are high school graduate. And then physically and mentally fit, not less than 21 nor more than 50 years old. So, not less than. Okay? Hindi bababa ng 21 years old or hindi tataas ng 50 years old. And then at least 5'4" in height, 5 feet 4 inches in height, and then not suffering from any disqualification under RA 5487, gaya ng dun sa operator or manager kanina. Okay, dishonorably discharged from the AFP or PNP, okay, habitual drunkard, mentally incompetent, and then convicted of crimes involving moral turpitude. So those are the disqualifications also. So who is a security guard? I mean, what are the other qualifications? So under here, veterans shall be given priority in employment as security guard or private detective, especially in times na bago pa lang yung batas natin, kasi marami pang buhay na mga veterano noon. Okay, mga binatang veterano noon, okay, sa digmaan. Pero nowadays, veterans natin matatanda na. So, usually, hindi na to. Medyo, na to, yung batas na to. Okay? Or yung provision na to, medyo outdated na. Okay? And then, person convicted of any crime involving moral turpitude shall not be employed as security guard or private detective. So, as we have mentioned a while ago, basta crimes involving moral turpitude, okay, they cannot be employed as a security guard or private detective. So, take note, halos lahat ng crimes dun sa revised penal code natin, those are crimes involving moral turpitude. Except dun sa mga may last part, okay? Yung nandun, recklessness and negligence na mga cases. So, those are only the exceptions doon. So, nandito, private detective agency, security guard, security agency must first obtain license from the PNP. So, no license, you cannot practice your profession. You cannot operate. Employees employed solely for clerical or manual work need not to be licensed. So, ito naman yung mga staff ng mga security agency. Okay? Secretary, okay, nandun sa computer nila, okay, or mga janitor nila, janitress, they are not necessarily to be licensed security work also. Okay? Pero yung mga mag-act as security guard talaga, security supervisor, operator, manager ng agency, then they should be a license, okay? License practitioner. The license shall be displayed at all times in a conspicuous and suitable place in the agency office, just like in a business sector, okay, or in business, mga grocery stores, okay? So they should also abide with that. Nakapost yung business permit nila, okay, or yung license to operate nila. The PNP exercise general supervision over the operation of all private detective and security agency guards, security guard agencies through the PNP SOSHA also. The city municipal mayors has the power as director of the city or municipal civil defense. Okay? So as we have mentioned also that kaagapay ng PNP and ating Armed Forces of the Philippines ang security guards natin in maintaining peace and order. Okay, so nandito yung power ng ating municipal or city mayors naman. Okay? So to deputize private detective and private detective and security guards to help maintain peace and order or prevent or arrest law violators in case of emergency and in times of disaster or calamity. So take note, in case of emergency or in times of disaster or calamity. So merong kakayahan yung mayor natin to direct, okay, or deputize those private detectives or magbigay ng order dun sa mga detectives or security agencies natin or security guards. Okay? So that is one of the power of the city or municipal mayors. They shall take orders from the chief of PNP for the duration of the fire, inundation, earthquakes, riots, and other emergency. So meron ding power ang chief PNP natin or chief of police. Chief of police is different from chief PNP. COP is different from CPNP. Okay, paano yan? We refer to chief PNP yung pinakamataas, yung general natin sa PNP. Yung COP, chief of police natin, yan yung head ng municipal police station, city police station. Okay? So yan yung pagkakaiba ng dalawa. So the chief of police will give orders or can give orders also to the security guards, private detectives, dun sa nasasakupan niya, dun sa within the municipality. Okay? And then a security guard or security agency is entitled to possess firearms, pero merong limitation yan, i-discuss natin later on. Kung ano yung mga pwedeng hawakan nilang baril. Ilang baril ang pwedeng ma-issue sa kanila. Okay? And then firearm must not be higher than caliber 45. Okay? So wag tataas nun. At least hanggang ano lang tayo. Hanggang 38 only. Okay? Hindi pwedeng caliber 45. Okay? And then lalagpas ng caliber 45 also. Agency is entitled to possess firearm not exceeding one firearm for every security guard in its employee. So isang security guard, isang firearm. Okay? So hindi dapat lalagpas yan. Security guard is entitled to possess not more than one riot gun or shotgun. Okay? Another one, firearm shall be carried by the security guard only during his tour of duty in proper uniform within the compound of the establishment except when he escorts big amount of cash or valuables in or out of said compound. So yun, yung mga issued firearms nila, hindi nila yan pwedeng ilabas. Okay? Yan lang ay magagamit nila within the area of responsibility unless kung mag-escort ulit sila ng big amount of cash. So, ang nangyayari kasi dyan, pagkatapos nilang mag-duty, ito turn over nila yan sa kasamahan nila. Okay? Yung baril na ginamit nila, ito turn over nila dun sa kasama nila. Okay? Papagamit din nila dun sa kasama nila. Okay? Na susunod na mag-duty. Another one, the chief PNP shall prescribe the uniform, ornaments, equipment, and paraphernalia to be worn by the security guards. So, that will be discussed later on as we proceed in our discussion here under Salient Features of RA 5487. So, meron tayo yung mga updated na kulay ng uniforms na meron sila, ano yung mga decorations na dapat naka-attach doon sa uniforms nila. And then, uniforms must be different from the PNP and AFP. Salary of security guard not lower than the minimum wage prescribed by law. Okay? So, dito sa as to the minimum wage, as we have mentioned, na ang security guards natin, they are also bounded by the labor code. Okay? They are also considered as employees. So, yan, nandyan din yung minimum wage. So, as we have researched, it was mentioned here in our sources that the minimum wage, the current minimum wage of the city of Manila or in Metro Manila, okay, In the year 2019, aabot ng 540. Okay? Approximately 540 per day yung sahod nila. Okay? Yung minimum wage. And then for the province of Calabarzon, provinces here in Calabarzon, aabot ng 400 pesos. Okay? For non-agriculture. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, papasok dyan yung security works natin. So, from 350 to 400 yung minimum wage nila. For agricultural sector, mas mababa. 370 yung sa kanila. So, that is for the minimum wage. So, take note, hindi bababa yung sahod nila dapat doon sa minimum wage, doon sa munisipyo kung saan sila nagtatrabaho or doon sa area kung saan sila nagtatrabaho. So, another one, still on the basic qualification of a security guard, provided that foreigners who are already employed as watchmen or security guards prior to the approval of this act shall not be subject to the above-mentioned requirements. So, this is the time when kapapasa lang nung batas na ito. So, provided that further, veterans shall be given priority in the employment as security guard, watchman, or private detective. So, yan yung nabanggit din natin kanina. And provided finally that person convicted of any crime involving moral turpitude shall not be employed as a security guard, watchman, or private detective. So, those are the qualifications or basic qualifications of a security guard. Now, we have here the exemptions for pre-licensing training. So, nandito kasi yun, bago ka makapag-avail ng license to exercise profession mo, you need to undergo training also for the security guard. So, meron tayo dito yung mga exempted, yung mga taong exempted dun sa pre-licensing training ng security guard. So, nandito, veterans and retired military personnel, take note of that, or honorably discharged military personnel, or police personnel possessing all the qualifications mentioned in the preceding section. So, take note, they should also possess the qualifications na na-mention. Hindi porket sila ay veteran and retired military personnel. Hindi. Okay? They should possess also the qualifications na na-mention kanina. Another persons who are exempted from the pre-licensing training, nandyan yung graduates of ROTC. So, kabilang na kayo dito. So, it's either advanced, basic, or its equivalent in AFP or PNP training. So, take note of that. So, pwede kayo dito or sakop kayo nitong batas na to. So, exempted kayo from pre-licensing training. Okay? So, yan yung nasa batas. So, I don't know in reality if it is being observed or it is being respected by the different security agencies in giving license. Okay? Or in offering license. And then we have here rights of security guards and other private security personnel. So this was stated under Department Order 152 or Series of 2016. So nandito, safe and healthful working conditions. So isa rin ito kasi na requirement bago ka makakuha ng mga business permit mo, especially sa mga business industries. Kailangan tine-check din nila yung mga sanitary, okay? Yung health conditions dun sa pinagtatrabuhan or dun sa establishment nila. And then labor standards such as but not limited to service incentive, leave, premium pay, overtime pay, holiday pay, night shift differential, 13-month pay, and separation pay as may be provided by the service agreement or under the labor code as amended. So our security guard, as they are considered as employees also, they should be entitled also with these incentives. Okay? So, they have the right also to avail those incentives na meron. Okay? And retirement benefits under 7461, RA 1161, as mentioned, and retirement plans of the security service contractor. So, RA 1161, that is all about the Social Security Law. Okay? SSS law. And then we have here RA 8282. Yan po yung batas on strengthening the social security system. So it amends. So it is amendment on RA 1161 only. Okay, so that is on letter C. And then we have here social security and welfare benefits. So they have the right also to be entitled with those. Yung magkaroon ng SSS nila. Okay, SSS benefits. And then right to self-organization and collective bargaining subject to the provisions of existing law. Okay? And then, paano yung collective bargaining na yun? Okay, so they have also the right to negotiate of wages and other conditions of employment by an organized body of employees. Okay, so they have also the right on that so-called collective bargaining. And then security of tenure, yung tenure kasi na tinutukoy natin, okay, refers to the term guaranteed permanent employment or guaranteed permanent employment yung tinutukoy natin. Okay, the holding of office. So, dito yung instances na hindi sila basta-basta pwedeng natatanggal. Okay? Hindi sila basta-basta pwedeng tanggalin. So, meron sanang security of tenure din sa kanila. Okay? So, paano yan? So, they are also bounded by the labor code. So, hindi, kapag sila ay bastang tinanggal, okay, nang wala namang sapat na dahilan, okay, walang sapat na explanation ng kanilang employer, then they can sue that employer. Okay? So, those are the rights and benefits of a security guard. Okay? And not only security guard, but also other private security personnels. We have here the next one, main and branch offices of a security agency. So in here, it was mentioned, all agencies shall maintain a main office in their registered address. So, that's it. Kung ano yung nilagay nila na nandun sa registration nila na address, then that should be considered as their main office or main branch. And main office. And then we have here the branch offices shall be established and maintained in other provinces, cities, where they have, okay, at least an initial employment of 10 guards during the first year. So take note, for the first year of the establishment of the branch of the security agency, at least meron silang 10 employed security guards for the first year. And then until third year of operation, at least meron na silang 30 minimum security guard. Okay? So, yun yung requirement for branch offices. So, with that, kapag hindi nila na-achieve yan, then they cannot be issued a regular license. So, temporary lang yung may bibigay na license sa kanila. And then we have here, branch offices established in region outside NCR shall be required to register their presence to CSF, District and Regional PADPAW. So, ano yung CSF na ito? So, take note, CSF refers to Civil Security Force. Okay, take note that the PNP SOSIA is actually under one of the operational unit of the PNP, yung tinatawag natin na Civil Security Group. Okay, so that is one of the operational unit of the PNP. And under CSG, nandyan yung PNP SOSIA natin. So they are the ones also in charge of civil security groups here in our country. So, nandyan. So, it is required to those branches, it shall be registered also to the Civil Security Force, district offices, and then regional PADPAW. That is in NCR, okay, National Capital Region. But for the other regions, it is not necessary to register the presence of branches dun sa CSF district or regional PADPAW. So, ang kailangan lang talaga yung mga nandun sa NCR. And then we have here the security service contract. So, anong content nito? What is all about this? So, private security agencies shall render security services to their client only after the service contract duly notarized. So, paano yan? Duly notarized, merong pumirma dyan na notarized public. So, a legal practitioner, okay, na notarized public. So, yan shall have been executed between them. Such contract must stimulate among other things. So, the money consideration to be paid by the client to the agency. So, yan, nakalagay dyan sa kontrata yung kung magkano yung babayaran. The number of hours of security per guard per day. Okay? Detailed, lahat nung oras, okay, ng duty. Okay? Ilang security guard yung kinakailangan, okay, or i-deploy doon. The guard himself shall render to the client. The salary each individual security guard shall receive from the agency. Okay? Nandyan din yung sahod. And then we have here now the tenure of security guard. The tenure is co-terminus of the service contract between the PSA and the client. So, hindi basta-bastang i-terminate or hindi basta-bastang tanggalin ng isang principal, okay, ng security agency ang isang security guard sa trabaho ng walang dahilan. And then, mas ano pa dyan, kapag hindi pa tapos yung nandun sa kontrata. Okay? Kasi ang basehan dun sa tenure or dun sa term of office or term of service ng isang security guard is kung ano yung nakalagay dun sa kontrata. Kung 3 years, edi 3 years yung scope ng pagtatrabaho niya. So, hindi siya basta pwedeng tanggalin dun. Okay? Kasi hindi pa tapos yung kontrata. Unless tapos na yung nandun sa kontrata, then pwede na siyang ma-separate. Okay? Umalis dun sa trabaho na yun. Okay? Kasi tapos na yung kontrata. So that is for tenure. Yung tinatawag natin, security of work or service. And then nandyan, however, services of any security guard shall be terminated on the following grounds. So ito naman yung mga reason na pwede nating sabihin na i-dismiss or sisantehin yung security guard na yon. So, upon expiration of the contract, okay, kapag natapos na yung contract, then separated na siya. He can be separated from the company. Revocation of license to exercise profession in a way na gumawa siya ng illegal, okay, mga krimen, okay, kasalanan, then that is one ground of revocation of license to exercise profession. So, kapag na-revocate, wala siya ng license to exercise profession, then that is one ground also of the security agency or the principal to remove, okay, or to terminate the security guard. Conviction of crime involving moral turpitude, loss of trust and confidence. So, conviction of crime involving moral turpitude, so pwede dyan kapag na-convict na. Okay, paano kapag ongoing pa yung kaso? So, pwedeng hindi pa siya matanggal doon sa security service niya. And then, loss of trust and confidence, physical and mental disability, any other violation of the pertinent rules and regulations. And then, for the payroll of the security guards, it was mentioned here, private security agencies shall prepare payrolls with the name of the security guards arranged alphabetically and numbered consecutively. This payroll shall be personally signed by the payees only after receipt of the amount shown therein. So, of course, okay, pipirmahan mo lang yan kapag na-receive mo talaga kung magkano yung nasasabi dun sa payroll. Kung hindi tumutugma, 500 yung nakalagay dun sa payroll, ang binibigay lang sa'yo sa actual, 300 din, wag mong pipirmahan. So, that is one condition there also. Separated payrolls for distant detachments, post shall be prepared and similarly signed by the payees or his duly authorized representatives as the case may be. Doon sa mga malalayo naman or merong mga branches na security agency. And then payroll shall be filed with the main office within 15 days after payday. So take note of that. It should be filed with the main office of the security agency within 15 days after payday. Kapag yan ay lumagpas ng 15 days, that could be something or that is sanctioned under the provisions of RA 5487. The use of payroll form shall be in accordance with the standard format as prescribed by law. But nowadays, usually ang kalakaran na ngayon, still meron namang payroll pero yung method of giving the cash is through bank ATM cards. Okay? Bank transactions na. Pero meron pa rin yung payroll. That is solely for the purpose of documentation also. So that is under payroll. Hey! Sinaligot sinundot ang kanyang